Hold up. Before you book that overpriced trip to Lisbon, let me show you something that's going to completely change your Portugal travel plans. What if I told you there's a Portuguese city where you can sip the world's best port wine in 200-year-old cellars, explore Harry Potter's inspiration for Hogwarts, eat a sandwich that weighs 2 pounds for just €3, and do it all without fighting tourist crowds? I just spent 7 days uncovering Porto's best-kept secrets, and what I discovered at spot number 3 literally made my jaw drop. But first, smash that like button if you're ready for the ultimate Porto adventure, and let's dive in. Hey travel adventurers! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I explore the world's most incredible destinations so you can travel like a local, not a tourist. Before we dive into today's ultimate travel guide, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I post new travel guides every Tuesday and Thursday, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, I know what you're thinking, another Porto video. But trust me, this isn't your typical tourist trap list. Over the past week, I've eaten my way through hole-in-the-wall Toscas, gotten lost in neighborhoods most tourists never see, and discovered experiences that cost less than a Starbucks coffee but deliver memories worth a fortune. And if you find this video helpful, which I know you will, smash that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm share this with more travel enthusiasts like yourself. Now, let's get started with something that will blow your mind. Number 10. Ride the historic tram. Starting at number 10, and this is where most people get it wrong. Everyone talks about Lisbon's Tram 28, but Porto's Tram 1 is actually more scenic and costs half the price. For just €3, this vintage wooden tram takes you on a breathtaking journey along the Douro River to Foz do Douro. But here's the insider secret most travel guides won't tell you: board at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Why? Because that's when the golden morning light hits the river just right, and you'll practically have the entire tram to yourself. I shot some of my best footage from this tram, and locals kept asking me how I knew about the photographer's timing. The 30-minute ride takes you past riverside quintas, under historic bridges, and ends at the Atlantic Ocean. And speaking of secrets, there's a tiny cafe at the final stop where fishermen gather for the best bafana sandwich in Porto for just €1.50. But more on incredible Porto food later. Quick question for you: have you ever been on a vintage tram? Drop a comment and let me know where. Your engagement really helps this channel grow. Number 9. Explore Livraria Lello bookstore. Number 9 will transport you straight into a Harry Potter movie, and there's a reason for that. Livraria Lello isn't just one of the world's most beautiful bookstores. It literally inspired J.K. Rowling when she lived in Porto in the early 1990s. That stunning red staircase? That's Hogwarts right there. Now, here's where everyone gets it wrong. Most tourists show up at 2 p.m., pay €5, wait 2 hours in line, and get 10 minutes inside with 200 other people. But I discovered something game-changing. Book the first entry slot at 9:30 a.m. Yes, you still pay the entrance fee, but for those magical first 30 minutes, it's like having this architectural masterpiece all to yourself. I spent an entire morning here, and the staff even let me photograph areas usually off-limits to tourists. The neo-Gothic details, the stained glass ceiling, and that iconic spiral staircase, every corner tells a story. And here's a bonus tip: that entrance fee? It's actually a voucher you can use to buy books, so you're essentially getting the experience for free. Number 8. Discover Ruas das Flores street art. Coming in at number 8, and this is where Porto shows its artistic soul. Rua das Flores isn't just a pretty street. It's an open-air art gallery that changes every month. But the real magic happens in the side alleys that most tourists completely miss. I spent an entire afternoon with a local street artist named Miguel, who showed me the difference between tourist art and authentic Porto expression. These aren't just Instagram backdrops. Each piece tells the story of Porto's neighborhoods, its struggles, and its dreams. What blew me away was discovering that many of these artists are actually engineers, teachers, and shop owners by day. Porto's art scene is completely grassroots, and that authenticity is something you can feel in every brushstroke. Pro tip: Follow the yellow azulejo tiles on the ground, they'll lead you to the most incredible murals that even locals don't know about. And bring your camera, because the lighting between 4-6 p.m. is absolutely magical. If you're loving these insider secrets, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, it really helps me reach more travelers like you. Number 7. Port wine cellars in Vila Nova de Gaia. Number 7 is probably what you expected, but I guarantee you're doing it wrong. Yes, the port wine cellars in Vila Nova de Gaia are incredible, but most tourists pick the biggest names and miss the real magic. After tasting at 8 different cellars, I found the absolute best experience at a tiny family-run cave called Quinta do Infantado. While everyone's crowding into Sandman and Taylor's, this hidden gem offers tastings that cost half the price and include ports you literally cannot buy anywhere else. But here's the real secret: the best view in all of Porto isn't from the cellars themselves. There's a tiny terrace behind Cockburns that nobody talks about. For the price of a €10 tasting, you get access to this hidden viewpoint that overlooks the entire city. I watched the sunset from here with a 40-year-old tawny port, and it was honestly one of those travel moments that gives you goosebumps. The locals call it the Golden Hour Terrace, and now you know why. Quick challenge for you watching: can you guess how many different types of port wine exist? Leave your answer in the comments, and I'll reveal the surprising answer at the end of this video. Number 6. Eat a francesinha sandwich. Halfway through our list at number 6, and we need to talk about the sandwich that will change your life. The francesinha isn't just food, it's a Porto institution. This beast contains ham, linguiça sausage, steak, and cheese, all covered in a secret beer-based sauce that every restaurant guards with their life. But here's what separates tourists from locals: where you eat it matters everything. After trying 12 different francesinhas across the city, I found the absolute best one at a tiny Tosca called Buffet Phase that literally has no sign and only 8 seats. The owner, João, has been perfecting his recipe for 30 years. His secret? He adds a splash of port wine to the sauce and uses bread that's baked fresh every 3 hours. The result? A francesinha that locals drive across the city to eat. Pro tip: order it, bem molhada, extra saucy. And don't even think about finishing the whole thing yourself. These sandwiches are meant to be shared, preferably with a cold Sager's beer and good company. And speaking of food, wait until you see what's coming at number 3. It involves a century-old market and a food experience that costs less than €5 but rivals Michelin-starred meals. Number 5. Azulejo Tiles AT São Bento Station. Number 5 takes us inside what might be the world's most beautiful train station. São Bento Station isn't just a transport hub, it's a masterpiece that tells Portugal's entire history through 20,000 hand-painted azulejo tiles. But here's what most people miss: these aren't just decorative. Each panel tells a specific story, from medieval battles to rural Portuguese life. I spent 2 hours here with a retired art history professor who showed me details that even tour guides don't know. Look at this panel here, it shows the Battle of Valdevez from 1140. And this one depicts rural harvest festivals from the 1800s. But my favorite? This tiny corner panel that shows early 20th century Porto street life. You can actually see Livraria Lello in the background. The crazy part? This station is still fully functional. Imagine commuting through a museum every day. And the best part? It's completely free to explore. Just don't miss the last train. I learned that lesson the hard way. Quick question: what's the most beautiful public building you've ever seen? Share it in the comments below. Number 4. Sunset at Serra do Pilar. Number 4 is where Porto reveals its most romantic side. While everyone fights for space at the Luís I Bridge, locals know that the real sunset magic happens at Serra do Pilar Monastery. This hidden viewpoint gives you a 360-degree panorama of both Porto and Vila Nova de Gaia. But timing is everything. Arrive exactly 1 hour before sunset. Why? Because that's when the light hits the Douro River at the perfect angle, and the entire city turns golden. I discovered this spot by complete accident when I got lost trying to find a restaurant. Now, it's my favorite place in all of Porto. You'll see photographers with professional equipment, couples sharing bottles of wine, and locals who've been coming here for decades. Pro tip: bring a jacket. The Atlantic wind picks up after sunset, and temperatures can drop 10 degrees in minutes. But trust me, watching the city lights flicker on below you is worth every goosebump. And if you're planning a romantic trip to Porto, this spot is absolutely non-negotiable. I saw 3 marriage proposals in just one evening. Number 3. Bolheo Market Food Adventure. Alright, here's number 3, and this is the jaw-dropping moment I promised at the beginning. Bolheo Market isn't just a market, it's a time machine that transports you to traditional Portugal. But here's the secret most tourists never discover. Behind the main market halls, there's a hidden section where local families have been running food stalls for 4 generations. I'm talking about places with no menus, no tourist prices, and food that will ruin every other meal for you. Meet Dona Maria. She's 78 years old and has been making the same 3 dishes for 45 years. Her bifana costs 80 cents. Her soup changes daily based on what's fresh, and her pastéis de nata, made with a recipe her grandmother brought from Lisbon in 1952. But here's the incredible part: she invited me into her kitchen. This tiny space behind her stall is where magic happens. Everything is made fresh every morning, starting at 5 a.m. The ingredients come from vendors she's known for decades, and she still uses the same cast iron pans her mother used. I ate the best meal of my entire Porto trip here, and it cost me €3.20. That included soup, a bifana, pastéis de nata, and coffee. Try finding that anywhere else in Europe. The best part? Dona Maria doesn't speak English, but food is a universal language. She taught me how to properly eat a bifana with mustard, never ketchup, and shared stories about old Porto that you'll never read in guidebooks. If you find value in these authentic, off-the-beaten-path experiences, please hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me and helps me continue sharing these hidden gems with fellow travelers. Number 2. Crystal Palace Gardens Secret Paths. Number 2 takes us to Porto's green heart, but not where you think. Everyone visits Jardins do Palácio de Cristal, but 90% of visitors never discover the secret paths that lead to the most incredible hidden spots. Behind the main pavilion, there's an unmarked trail that winds through indigenous Portuguese forests. Follow it for 10 minutes, and you'll find yourself at a clearing with peacocks roaming free and a view of the Atlantic that rivals any postcard. But the real secret is the abandoned gazebo from the 1960s. It's completely overgrown with vines, but if you climb to the top carefully, you get a view of Porto that literally no tourist has ever seen. I felt like I was discovering Machu Picchu. I spent an entire morning exploring these hidden paths and met only 3 other people, all locals walking their dogs. One elderly man named Antonio has been exploring these gardens for 40 years and showed me a hidden spring where locals still collect water. Pro tip: bring a picnic and spend half a day here. There are dozens of hidden benches and clearings perfect for lunch with a view. And don't forget insect repellent. The mosquitoes can be intense near the water features. Number 1. Underground Porto, the Forgotten Tunnels. And here's number 1, something so incredible that most Porto residents don't even know it exists. Beneath the historic center lies a network of medieval tunnels that connected monasteries, wealthy merchant houses, and even had escape routes to the river. These aren't on any tourist map. They're not in guidebooks. But through a local historian named Dr. Fernanda Silva, I gained exclusive access to tunnels that haven't been explored by tourists in over 30 years. What I discovered down there blew my mind. Original Roman foundations, medieval wine cellars still containing 200-year-old bottles, and artifacts that tell the story of Porto's hidden history. In one chamber, we found merchant ledgers from the 1700s, perfectly preserved in the cool, dry air. But the most incredible moment? Deep beneath São Bento station, there's a tunnel that leads to a natural cave overlooking the Douro River. Pirates used this cave as a hideout in the 1600s, and you can still see their markings on the walls. Dr. Silva told me stories passed down through generations about revolutionaries hiding here during political uprisings, lovers meeting in secret during conservative periods, and smugglers moving port wine during trade wars. The crazy part? You can actually book private tours of these tunnels, but only through word-of-mouth connections. No websites, no official booking systems. It's Porto's best-kept secret, and now you're one of maybe 100 people worldwide who knows about it. This experience cost me €25 and included 3 hours underground with a professional historian. Compare that to tourist attractions that charge the same for 20 minutes. This is why I love discovering authentic, local experiences. Guys, if this video has opened your eyes to a completely different side of Porto, please smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to see this. Your support helps me continue uncovering these incredible hidden gems. Before we wrap up, here are my top 3 bonus insider tips that will transform your Porto experience. First, download the Via Verde app for public transport. For €1.20, you can ride trams, buses, and even the funicular all day. Most tourists pay individual fares and spend 3 times more. Second, eat lunch between 1 to 2 p.m. and dinner after 8 p.m. Follow local timing, and you'll get better service, fresher food, and sometimes even free appetizers that restaurants only offer to locals. Third, learn basic Portuguese greetings. Just bom dia and obrigado, obrigada will open doors you never expected. Portuguese people are incredibly warm when you make the effort. Now, remember that challenge I gave you earlier about port wine types? The answer is 7 main categories, but over 40 different styles when you include vintage years and special blends. Did you get it right? If you're planning a trip to Porto, I've created a detailed Google map with every location from this video, plus 20 additional hidden gems I discovered but didn't have time to include. You can access it through the link in the description. It's completely free. And speaking of the description, you'll find timestamps for every location, exact addresses, opening hours, and my personal recommendations for the best times to visit each spot. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because next week, I'm revealing the secret food tour I mentioned at the beginning. It involves 8 stops, costs under €15 total, and includes dishes that aren't available to regular tourists. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and remember, the best travel experiences aren't in guidebooks. They're waiting for curious travelers like you to uncover them. Até logo!